Hi, this is Mahesh Ravi, and in this video, I'm going to share a very important update of my life. And um, this is a learning model that I sort of came up with from my experiences as a mentor. I've been in the business of mentoring since 2016, and sharing my knowledge is something that I've always been very passionate about. Um, the main reason for that is that when you are a teacher and you want to teach something, you have to do your prep, and for a teacher, the prep is learning, and I enjoy the process of learning. This basically, when you learn something, you are improving your value. You're definitely better than the previous version of yourself because you know more stuff. So I always enjoy the process of learning and mentoring. And um, when I actually was, and so this is something that I was very passionate about to actually meet the students, interact with them, and teach. There have been a lot of inspiring mentors in my life, especially during my time at University of Wollongong. Brogan Bund was a really great influence in my teaching style. So what I wanted to do is that I came with that same passion to teaching, and then I faced a couple of challenges in my life. So, a significant drawback when it comes to the students of our country here in India is that their reliance on passive learning. Uh, this is basically when they have spent a major chunk of their education at schools where they were not allowed to speak in class or they were not allowed to engage with the content. And that basically pushed them into a shell and they started finding comfort in that shell. So even when they actually know that this is the new programs that they are learning is something that could have potentially greater impact on their career, they are not able to come out of that comfort zone. Um, they somehow find comfort in hiding from the mentor or I just saying. So the students were not actually engaged. So the students were not taught to have dialogues. They were used to listening to monologues from the lecturer or the mentor. So, unless you have a dialogue with the content, you will not be engaging with it, and thus you will not be learning anything seriously. So, even a lot of students were reluctant to ask questions when I started teaching, and they were scared to ask questions. They had no understanding of the flow of content or anything like that. Um, Another major challenge in the current scenario, if you want to excel in any topic, if you want to understand that, you need to have a 360-degree knowledge on everything that is associated with that industry. For instance, you need to, let's say, if you're talking about design, if you want to be a good designer, you need to know design tools. You need to know the theory of design. You need to know various styles of design. You might need to know who are the top designers. You might need to know what the design agencies are doing. Um, what are the types of design which have more potential right now in this time. This is 360 degree understanding of a topic, and it doesn't come from one source, right? You have to look at a lot of things. You have to read a lot of books. You might have listened to a lot of talks. You might have to follow certain personalities, and then only you will understand. This is not just a matter of design. When you're talking about any subject for that matter, this is the scenario. You need to have a 360-degree understanding of something to excel or to get a good career in that subject. So that's when it occurred to me that they actually need a better learning model, which considers these kind of challenges that they are having. So before building this model, which is called Crawlmat, I will get into that in a bit. But before building a new model, there were a couple of considerations that I had in my mind. So the first thing is that the students should have a one-stop destination where they could go to and have a holistic bird's eye view of everything that they are learning. Right? They should be able to understand how did they reach from one point to another point. How are these topics connected with each other? How does it branch out to different subtopics and all that? And another thing is that they should easily be able to recognize where they stand in this whole flow of content. Like you might have seen in shopping malls, you might see a map which shows you are here. That's the identifier sort of like breadcrumb technology that they use in malls to that you're in this floor and you're near this shop, right? They will show you that. That's exactly what this model have to do. The student should be able to know that where they stand and how to move from there to another place. Um, Another consideration that I had is that students should be able to interact with those contents. So if you are finding a topic and they are not ready or they don't understand it, they should be able to comment on it immediately and then get a response. And this content will evolve over a period of time. It's not like you're actually giving them a textbook which has chapter 1 to chapter 100 in the beginning of the course. This is something which actually evolves with the students when the faculty is going through the model. So they're not confused. They are not, overwhelmed with the amount of content that they are getting in the beginning, but it slowly appears as they go through the learning model. Um, and yeah, the most important thing is that the whole process of learning should be fun, right? It shouldn't be a boring task. So, okay, so then I thought of like, okay, the making the whole model, and my inspiration came in when I saw Adam playing, the little guy playing on his crawl mat. So I was looking at that Crawlmat, and I sort of saw how he actually moved from or in the Crawlmat was looking at the shapes which were printed in the maps, and he was fascinated by the shapes and he was following the shapes. And while doing that, he started learning to crawl. So um, then the name came to me immediately. Okay, I should call it Crawlmat, and I should have the same approach to learning as well. Now, there are three important things that I wanted people to do here. People learn faster by connecting, communicating, and collaborating. So I added the fourth C to it, which is Crawlmat. So Crawlmat is basically a sort of a mind map where it's initiated and driven by the mentors. So the mentors will be building um, the content or the topic inside this whiteboarding tool. It can be anything. So in this example, or in my academy, they're using Canva for doing this. So the mentor will list out the topics, sub branches, and all that as they are explaining the topic to the students. Um, it will have paths which connects the topic to the subtopics or new topics. It will also have the pioneers of that particular domain, the books that you should read, all coming in the narrative and fits where it is supposed to be. Right? It is not like the entire chapter is over and you have some recommended readings and you don't know where at what stage you should start reading that book. Everything is progressive and it is all connected at the right junctures. So another thing that is they can do is students can actually comment on any topics that they have doubts to. Um, I'll show you an example of how this actually works. But before doing that, I just want to say that crawl mat model is not just for mentors. It's for students. They can build their own crawl model. They can create a space where they are starting to learn something without the help of a mentor. So they just write a topic, whatever their research that they are doing, they can just put it together, inspirations, they can put it there, and they can start learning at their own pace with this model, and they can go back to it and they can see the whole narrative shaping up in one space, which is a really, really powerful technique of learning. Now, another thing that I wanted to say here is that this is so apart from teachers and mentors, teams will be able to use the same model where multiple contributors can put their learnings into one space, and it is all connected, so the connections are made to somebody else's topic, and okay, this is where you deviate and you actually study something else. So the team will have access to a knowledge bank which is easily connected, and companies will be able to use this. So it's a very, very productive model, and I implemented it in my class, and I had a couple of students who actually created their own branch outs of crawl mats, and they started learning. The outcome was really great. The amount of things that the students were able to learn, the kind of understanding they had about a particular topic, the fun that they had with the whole model of just commenting, just seeing the connections, following a path, and all that was really, really great. And I got a lot of good reviews from students and mentors who used Crawlmat model. So I just wanted to give you an introduction on it. I will be conducting a seminar on how to use Crawlmat, how to actually take a whiteboarding tool and start building it. So in this video, I'm just going to show you a glimpse of how you can get started with the Crawlmat learning model. So let's jump into Canva and let me show you how it works. Right, so we are in my computer right now, and let me go to Canva, and I want to show you how we can start or initiate a Crawlmat learning model. So once you're in Canva, you can do this in any whiteboarding tool. It could be Figma, FigJam, or Miro, or Mural. I'm going to use Canva for this. So when you're in Canva, click on create a design and choose a whiteboard template. So you can see that in here. The reason why we are choosing a whiteboard is that it doesn't have any boundaries. So you can keep building content and it can be zoomed out beyond 100%. It's sort of like a very vector like environment, so it doesn't limit your content flow. So click on whiteboard, and we are here in the Canva document. So once you have this, you can start building it from your core domain name. So for instance, let's say, for example, I am going to go to the text and I'm going to add a main text here. So this is your core. This is where you basically write the core topic that you want to teach. So I'm going to just write UX design. So I'm going to teach this module or this subject to a bunch of students. So once I've done that, you can maybe highlight this by using, a highlight tool. So I just went to draw. I'm just selecting a highlight tool. I'm just going to just highlight it right here. So right now I have a highlighted core topic. This is where it starts, right? So you can maybe write a text description saying that start here. So the students will know that this is your starting point. You are going to start here. Now what you are going to do is you are going to create sub content for this. So I'm going to create 2 branches here, and you can do this with a very raw style. So I usually do this with the draw tools, but if you want to be more neat with the whole thing, you can maybe create this sort of precise lines there, and you can create branches with that. So I created one line, just duplicated this, and I'm going to create one more line. So we have these 2 paths from here that a student can take, and we are going to write the subtopics here. So in UX design, I'm going to talk about, let's say, UX loss. I'm going to talk about that, and I'm also going to talk about UX process. One other thing about the Crawlmat is that, as you can see, you are at 75% zoom. You can zoom out all the way, or you can zoom in all the way inside. So it's very easy to organize content and stuff inside the Crawlmat. So we are going to write UX loss. Like, let's say that we want to actually build content here. I'm just going to take this and I'm going to write there are 21 laws of UX. So that's basic description here. I'm just showing you a very basic example of how this is there, right? And then maybe you can actually embed a website into it. So I'm going to say, just go to this and website. I'm going to write it here. Select that and click on the link and say that www.lossofux.com. So this is what I want. And I want the display mode to be an embed. So it will show the website right here. So I can just scale it down and I can keep it right here. So this is, a link that is embedded into this Crawlmat. So the students can just click on this and they can go and talk about this, or we can explain it as well. Now I'll show you how to share this as well. So when you're sharing it with the students, you can change the collaboration link to anyone with the link. And instead of can edit, change it to can comment, so that students will not be able to manipulate this content, but they can click on something and comment their thoughts. Let me show you how a finished, almost in progress, a real Crawlmat is going to look like. So let me take you to my Crawlmat, where I've been using this to teach my students about UX design. You can see a lot of this, circular pop-ups. That's basically the questions that the students asked. Let's zoom inside and let's go to where it all started. So you can see that I started it from here, right? And beneath this, so when they're starting from this, they are going to learn about, okay, what are the short forms that you need to know? What is the hierarchy of UXD, and what is the difference between user interface and user experience, a definition of that, and some parameters of this. What is experience? So I've created a formula for that, and then you can see what is the goal, the stages, project flow, and then I wanted people at this stage to explore the tool called Notion. I mentioned that. And then I went to UX workflow, and the workflow is listed here. If you go down, you can see that I've started explaining each of the steps which are in here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've started going there in detail. So if you go zoom in, you can read more about that. Right? So you can also see a bird's eye view of how many steps I have covered in here. Right, and up to 4 I have covered in this particular batch. You can also see there are 2 other branches from the main content. One is going to their UX project. You can see what is the problem statement, what are my notes, and what are the student projects that they started pitching. So the name of the students, the idea, and the Excel sheet where they store or dump all the projects. Now, how to document that UX case study, and every week, who are the students who actually presented their progress, I can actually make a mark right in here. The students will also be able to see how that narrative or that branch of delivery is going. Now, from UX design, I have another branch called UX laws. So I've created a summary here, and that UX laws is connected to a simplified explanation that I've created for each of these laws. So I have made simple definitions for each of this for students to understand this better, and I have started writing that here. So I will be continuing doing this for this particular batch. I have also created something called a tool central, where they can see all the tools that we are learning in this module, and each of these tools is connected to that link. So when the student actually sees it, they can click on it, and that will take them to the tool. And I'll show you some another here. I've created some chart here called history of design as well. That is something when I'm going with the main topics and I have a subtopic that needs to be covered at that point, I will just teach that. Now, if you click on any of these pop-ups, you can see how a student interacts with the content. So there is this comment from the student. It could be a question, it could be an opinion or a suggestion, and the mentor can go in here and comment the answer or the thoughts on it. And you can also go through all the comments which are made in this thread. So this is another student and the replies of it, another student. So it will take you to which topic that they are commenting to. So one of the best things about this is that they can select a particular stage and write a comment right there. So it's not like they comment on the entire thread. It is like if they don't understand a particular topic, just select that and write a comment there, and it will show right there in that topic. So this is how a finished Crawlmat will look like, and it's something that all of you can use. So I would recommend try getting into Crawlmat and start using it, right? This is an experience that you are definitely going to enjoy, and you will have a lot of fun learning. Thank you.